You could kind of look at this as either good or bad news, depending on your perspective. I see this as good news because I don't want Hollywood going into Japan, even though it's already happening. Netflix has figured it out. Netflix is funny because they're both good and bad examples of what you can do with live action anime, because the One Piece live action adaptation is fantastic. It has some flaws, but when you compare the positive to the negatives with that One Piece anime live action, I think the positives outweigh everything else. It's very well done. I enjoyed it. It got me into the anime. I think I'm at episode 728. Spoilers, Luffy got fourth gear and got tired out, and now they're running from Doflamingo so that he can get his hockey back. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. But those of you that do probably know exactly where I'm at in the series now. I never would have watched this show if it hadn't been for the Netflix adaptation. It was just enough for me to think, okay, I think this world is worth diving into. I was always kind of intimidated by how many episodes there are, but I went from thinking of it as homework to like a kind of joining an adventure. I've loved this series. But, Hollywood is in a really bad place. You've had so many catastrophic bombs for them. They're losing money left and right. Look at that Magical Society movie that I covered yesterday. They think audiences want that story, but they don't think audiences want Luffy. It's so funny. And it's being confirmed here by Kung Fu Panda 4's co-director, who says Hollywood execs totally see the influence and impact anime has on the world, but still think that audiences don't like these kinds of stories. Oh no, they want magical societies. Right. Look at the difference in storytelling. And don't take this as a knock if you liked Godzilla X Kong. But look at the differences between -1 and that movie. And yes, I understand there's Toho influence all over Godzilla X Kong. I just didn't care for that movie. But most of the time, that's the kind of shit you see when someone goes over and takes a Japanese property and brings it over here. We've seen it time and time again. Dragon Ball Evolution is a great example of that. There's good ones too. Battle Angel Alita, the live action version, is actually pretty well done. Most of the time, though, they just don't do this right. I would rather Hollywood just stay away from Japan, to be honest, unless they get the creator to come in. Like, the only reason, and I'm very convinced, the only reason that the Netflix One Piece show was good is because the creator of the series had total control. He has he's part owner. I believe he's part owner with, I don't think he's 100% owner. I think him, Sueisha own it, but I guess I was wrong because I just looked it up, and it says here, I mean, this is from the Google AI, so I don't know, but it says Oda is the owner of One Piece by copyright and has 100% ownership of the product. Shueisha owns the rights to the manga, while Toei Animation owns the rights to the anime. But they have to pay him pieces of that profit if it's true. But either way, he's got massive control, and they have to ask him before they can do anything. And then, of course, there's bad examples, right? We have Cowboy Bebop. This is why Netflix is a good example of good and bad, because you've got One Piece and Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop came in and thought they could westernize it and make it better. There's people that say it improved the original. It got rid of the sexism. So how this sets up is people were asking the co-director of Kung Fu Panda 4 about how people in the industry feel about like more serious stuff, like a scene from Puss in Boots where the hero experiences a panic attack after realizing he had used up 8 of his 9 lives. And Stein says that she loved it. Loved that kind of stuff because people have grown up on more serious storylines thanks to popular Japanese mediums. And she's, of course, talking about anime and manga. And then says that there's a catch to this kind of stuff. A lot of people in charge of the finances of making a movie think that audiences don't like these kinds of stories. I'm not sure why, said Stein. Every time I've talked to an executive, they told me that, yes, they totally see the influence and impact anime has on the world, but no, we will not do that. And I find that really interesting. And what that tells me is that 9 times out of 10, when companies try to adapt anime or manga or something like that, they're never going to get it right. Like One Piece might be a drop in a bucket. And there's a really good example of that, and it's Power Rangers. Now, why am I bringing up Power Rangers? Because you're likely thinking, well, Power Rangers is based on Japanese property, and you would be right. But the new Power Rangers is getting rid of its Japanese boots. And why? I just said boots, roots. It's getting rid of its Japanese roots. Here's the article on that. I don't know if I covered that or not. But they think they have to do that to reach a larger mainstream audience, which is bullshit. The appeal of that show was its Japanese roots, which you've stripped away. So I totally expect Power Rangers to die. You'll still have Sentai over in Japan, but the American version has nothing to do with Sentai anymore, which is dumb. So I expect this new shit to pretty much fall to the wayside. But they thought that they needed to get away with that to improve the show, and it's going to fail. You can't take the Japanese out of it and expect it to do well. So this is, to me, like a good thing, because one of the big problems is like all of this Western influence coming into the product, and if they keep making these adaptations and they fail 9 times out of 10, maybe they'll stop and they'll go away. That's not going to stop them from trying to change and colonialize what's going on over in Japan. Why they get mad about colonialization. They're over there trying to do it to Japan right now through finances, and it's funny. So, take it for what it is. I think this is kind of a good thing because I would like the West to stay out of Japan, personally. But, yeah, interesting to me. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I will see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.